Hey, third grade. So we're going to be starting a new unit these next 2 days. So just today, Thursday, and then tomorrow and Friday. And we're going to be talking about saving money and spending money and the cost of things, the cost of purchasing things when that item is in high demand and when it is in low demand, and why it's important to save money. And have a savings account and things like that. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this stuff today and tomorrow, but you guys are also going to see these same topics repeated during social studies at one point in one of your social studies units. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of the same conversation later on in social studies. So we're just going to go over it quickly in math for 2 days, and then on Monday you guys are going to have like a little quiz to take for over this stuff that we've talked about these past 2 days, okay? And then today and tomorrow after this lesson, it's here on Nearpod, you guys are going to have an Education Galaxy assignment to go complete, okay? So let's talk about, so in this lesson, we're going to describe the relationship between the availability or scarcity of resources and how that impacts cost. So what are resources? Resources are natural or man-made materials needed to satisfy the needs and wants. Resources could also be land, workers, energy, or knowledge. So some of the resources that man-made materials, resources, things that you go to the store and buy, okay? Hot Cheetos, Takis, your game systems, your PlayStations, your Xboxes, your Nintendo Switch, your shoes, your clothes that you buy, the coolest shoes, the coolest clothes, the coolest game systems, those are all resources, okay? But also same thing as like houses and land, and things like that, food, okay? What is scarcity? Scarcity is when the needs and wants of buyers is greater than the amount of resources to produce the goods and services needed. So scarcity is when the needs and wants of buyers is greater than the amount of resources to produce the goods and services needed. So around Christmas time, there was a new game system that came out, and Miss Garza doesn't really remember which one it was because I don't play video games. But there was a new game system came out, and it was really hard to find. So you could say that that gaming system, it was scarce. That gaming system was scarce to find. It was hard to find. People were paying a lot of money for that game system because there weren't a lot of them available. Okay, what is cost of production? When materials and resources are available and there are plenty of workers and human capital, the cost to produce goods and services may be lower. But if many of the workers have the flu or materials are scarce, the cost may increase. So all of the things that we buy at the store, they have to be made by something or someone. And a lot of these things are made in factories, and humans help put together those materials, okay? So when there are plenty of workers, the cost to produce goods and services may be lower. So when you have a lot of people who can get a lot of things done at one time, the cost of that is going to be cheaper. But when you have workers who are out, so let's think about what we're going through in our world right now. So we're all working through and going through the coronavirus, okay? So the coronavirus has had people, a lot of people haven't been able to congregate together. So big factories and things like that have had to have fewer people come in at a time. So more materials are not being produced. A less amount of materials are being produced every single day. And because of that, the cost of those materials are going to go up because there's not going to be as many of those materials available for people who want to buy them. So companies are going to use that in their advantage, and they're going to jump up the price of that object because there's not a lot of them and a lot of people want them, so they're going to make the most amount of money that they can on them, okay? So last year, Mrs. Martin was the only realtor in town. she used to be very busy. So she was the only one. She used to be very busy and sold 6 to 10 houses each week. Now, 2 more realtors have moved their business to our town. Okay, so Miss Martin was the only one. And so if anyone wanted to buy a house or buy some land, that's what realtors do. They sell houses and help people find houses. If anyone in that town wanted to find a house or buy a house, sometimes rent a house too, they had to go to Miss Martin. Now, 2 more realtors have moved their business to our town. So now Miss Martin is not the only person that people can go to. There's 2 other people that they can go to. So because people don't want to wait and they want it quicker and faster, they're going to go to someone else who isn't as busy as Miss Martin. This year, Miss Martin has noticed more competition in the real estate business. Now she sells 3 to 4 houses each week. Okay. So this has turned to the person, but you guys are doing this at home. You're going to discuss on the next slide, you're going to tell me how competition affects Mrs. Martin's income. So on the next slide, it's going to give you a little time to type. You're going to tell me how competition affects Mrs. Martin's income. Okay. This next question. Oops. Okay. This year, our community has had very little rainfall. Many crops have become scarce. And remember the word scarce. There's not a lot of them. Farmer Brown sells hay to the ranchers to feed their cattle. But this year, he will not have as much hay available to sell. He doesn't have a lot of hay to sell because there isn't a lot of rainfall. So you're going to have a time to type and discuss how a drought is when an area goes without rain for an extended period of time, impacts the cost of Farmer Brown's hay. So what's going to happen to the cost of Farmer Brown's hay because he's going through a drought and crops have become scarce? Okay, so that's a little bit about supply and demand. So the cost of an object. So if Hot Cheetos, I'm going to use Hot Cheetos as an example. Miss Garza loves Hot Cheetos, and I know you guys love Hot Cheetos too. Okay, so if Hot Cheetos are super, super popular, and everyone wants to eat Hot Cheetos, but the Hot Cheeto factory, it stopped working. They had to stop producing Hot Cheetos for a while because some of the machines broke. Okay, that means that the Hot Cheetos that they did have produced, the cost of those is going to go up because more people want Hot Cheetos, and the Hot Cheetos company wants to make their money. So they're going to increase the cost of a bag of Hot Cheetos. So instead of paying $2 for a bag of Hot Cheetos, you're going to be paying $5 or $6 for a bag of Hot Cheetos because people are going to buy them because people want them. Okay, now if they have a lot of Hot Cheetos produced, but only a little bit amount of people want them, the cost of Hot Cheetos are going to go down because they have so many bags of Hot Cheetos and they aren't selling because not that many people want them, and they're going to lower the cost of them because they want to get rid of them and they want to make the money. So instead of paying $2 for a bag of Hot Cheetos, maybe you're only paying $1, and hopefully that increases the amount of Hot Cheeto bags that are being bought because they're being sold at a lower price. Okay, so you guys know a little bit about scarcity, supply and demand. So when the supply is up, the demand is probably going to be lower, and your cost of things is going to be greater. And when the demand is high and the supply is low, the cost of things is going to be higher because more people want it, but there aren't a lot of those, objects or materials or resources available. Okay, so you guys have a couple more things to work on in this Nearpod.